Hi, everyone. I'm Therese, and this is New York Girl Again, The After, the podcast for caregivers who have survived the hardest chapter of their lives and are now gathering both the courage and the strength to write the next one. As promised, today we are continuing the Movement is Healing series with Theresa Gratton, the owner and creative genius behind Flying Fabrics by Theresa, and a lifelong dancer. Theresa has been dancing for over 40 years, and her creative work with flowing fabric and photography grew out of that lifelong relationship with movement, expression, beauty, creativity, and the courage to be seen. Last week, we talked about dance as a way to get out of our heads and back into our bodies. Today, Theresa joins me to continue that conversation as we discuss what movement can awaken in us, what it can help us face, and how it can reconnect us with confidence, joy, and parts of ourselves that may have gone quiet. For caregivers in the after, I think this conversation is about more than dance. It's about beginning again, letting ourselves be seen, and remembering that our bodies are not only here to endure, they are also here to express, to feel, and to carry joy. I am so grateful to welcome Theresa to New York Girl Again, The After.
So I've been dancing, for, I'm going to age myself here, over almost 40 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I started obviously when I was a little girl, but then I stopped for quite a while. And all through my high school years, I didn't dance, which is probably the most important time. I should have been dancing, but I didn't. And then I started back up when I was in my early 20s, and I've been dancing ever since. Lots of different genres. I started with classical ballet, contemporary, until I had a back issue, a back surgery, and the doctor said, it's probably not the best thing for you to do classical ballet anymore, so you might want to find a different genre of dance.
When was that?
That was, in 2018, 19,
Okay.
right around the COVID time.
Okay, wow. That must have been devastating.
It was, because at the time, dance was my whole entire life. So I kind of sought out different genres, and that's when I fell into the ballroom world and started doing ballroom and fell in love with that.
That's right. When did you start at the studio? What year was it?
I think it was 2019, right when COVID hit. Because
of course, that's where we met at the studio.
That's where we met, yes. We should start in the studio.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then during that time, I was just getting back into ballet as well, not classical ballet. I couldn't do point anymore, but I was doing just regular ballet and contemporary, and I wanted some really cool photos. I was seeing all these photos overseas with fabrics, and especially like in Greece, the flying fabrics in Santorino. And I was like, I want to do something like that here. But I reached out to photographers, and no one ever did that. And no one's like, what are you talking about, fabrics? And so I kind of just started building it myself. I bought some fabrics, not even knowing what I was doing, and attached it to some of my costumes and hired a photographer. And that's how Flying Fabrics by Theresa started.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And some of those pictures are absolutely stunning.
Oh,
absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And that's actually why I was drawn to Flying Fabrics too, because those pictures were so amazing. So
thank you.
Theresa did 2 of my photo shoots as well.
Yes, beautiful.
So yeah,
love your photos.
You're just absolutely incredible. So what first drew you to dance?
So like I was saying, I started when I was a little girl, obviously doing the ballet, gymnastic, tap, just the basic 3 that my mom put me into school. And I liked it and all, and I really enjoyed it. But then in high school years, I stopped, and I don't know, it just typical high school thing, you're doing other things. You're not really paying attention to what you want to do. You're just kind of following your friends or whatever. And then when I was in my early 20s, I was in a really dark place. I had not to be dramatic or anything, but dance honestly saved my life. And I think that's why it's so important to me. And like I said, I don't want to be dramatic or anything, but that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, no,
I was engaged to be married, and my fiance at the time left me right before the wedding. And it was just devastating to me. And
oh my God.
Looking back now, it's like, okay, well, we weren't meant for each other. But at the time, you think that's like the only person for you.
Of course.
Early 20s, you're really impressionable, So I was in a very dark place and just kind of like in a coma state for almost a year. And I remember my friends and family being like, you have to do something to get out of this. Like you're just not living. I was just staying home all the time, just very depressed. And I remember I was like, well, I think they're right. Maybe I'll just try dance again. And so I joined a ballet class, and it was just my way of getting out of that funk. And it really brought me back to life. Like it was a way, one, to express myself, first of all, because I was so angry and bitter inside at the time. And I didn't know how to voice that any other way. So dancing was a way for me to get that all out, all those emotions, and just let it go and free myself of all that. And it also socially got me out there again. I was in dance class. I was interacting with people.
Right.
So yeah,
a community.
A community sense. Yeah. So it's kind of just snowballed from there. And then just like every waking day, I just had to dance. And then it wasn't that I wanted to dance. I needed to dance.
Right.
Like every day
it was like therapeutic.
It was therapeutic
at that point. Right.
And now looking back, I realized why it was getting me out of my funk, because when I was dancing, my endorphins were going and it was getting me that joy that I needed.
Right.
I mean, at the time I didn't know. I mean, looking back, it's like I'm early 20s. I knew nothing about endorphins. I just knew when I danced, I was feeling good.
Yeah.
So, but now looking back, I'm like, yeah, that's what was happening. Like I had endorphins going. And so I would just spend hours and hours in the studio, endless hours. And yeah, that's kind of how I got out of that dark spot in my life.
To caregivers who've really, given pretty much most of themselves, sacrificed most of themselves, most of their lives to their loved ones, looking for somehow to kind of come back to themselves. I think dance is that absolute remedy.
Mm-hmm.
And, because we met, it was about 2 years after my dad passed away. I decided to take up ballroom dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I had the honor of meeting you.
Wow.
It was so transformative for me because I was still so depressed and so sad. And, it was such a way to bring me out of my shell,
Mm-hmm.
Or not even out of my shell, but push me out of my comfort zone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
it gets you over the hump.
Yeah,
it just pushes you over that hump, that mundane of that dark spot, that depression.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when I don't dance, I kind of just don't feel right.
Right.
I just feel out of sorts, and I can't explain it. And I don't know if that's necessarily healthy either, to be so dependent on something. But
well, it's something so good, right?
Yeah,
it's something that makes you feel good, that's healthy and beneficial to you. So I don't think there's any harm
in it, right?
No,
yeah, it's all good stuff.
But I mean, you've done it for so many years, and look how far you've progressed.
But to me, that's the fun part of it.
Yeah,
like you reach a certain goal. It's like, okay, what can I do now? How far can I take it? How far, now that I'm pushing 60.
But you don't look at it all.
How far can I push my body? Okay, I got this far. What can I do next? What different genre am I going to do? Like, there's so many different directions you can take dance, and dance can take you. That's the fun part to me. Like, I don't mind the goal part, because it's like, oh, am I going to reach it? When am I going to reach it? And that's, and it's never on the time frame that you want. It's you have to be patient with it. So.
And what about all the choreography that you've done?
Oh, you mean created myself, or that I've actually danced?
Well, that you've danced, that you've given your input in to do these incredible performances.
Yeah, I love that. I always said in my next life I want to be a choreographer, because I just love creating. That's, to me, the most rewarding part of dance is the creating aspect of it. So whether I'm having choreography put on me, or if I'm creating my own choreography, or if there's a collaboration, that's just to me, that process is the most rewarding in the studio. The one dance that probably stands out the most for me is did with Marcus Rogers Dance Company. I dance with him quite often, and he did choreography to the prayer. It wasn't on me. He created it for another dancer, danced it with another dancer, but I had the opportunity to dance it with him 2 times actually, and it's just so beautiful. It's to the prayer, Andre Bocelli and Celine Dion.
Yes.
But we did it to a cover of that, which was beautiful. And that both times I've danced that, I've never experienced anything elsewhere. Wow. Because it's just such a beautiful piece that he choreographed. And again, it wasn't choreographed for me. It was for somebody else, but I just had the opportunity to dance it with him. And just when we danced that, the 2 times I've had the opportunity to dance with him with that, it's just, you could tell that you've moved somebody. And it was the only time in my dancing career where people have come up and said, wow, like that really moved us.
Really?
Like, that touched us. And that's all I really ever want from dance, is just to move somebody or touch somebody. So,
how did it feel for you though, doing that dance?
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And that's what I'm constantly trying to chase that feeling.
Yeah.
Because it's really a wonderful feeling when you know that you're connected with the audience like that, and actually like bringing emotion to somebody that you necessarily wouldn't be able to do any other way.
Right.
Yeah. Dance is the one art form that, or the one thing, I know you can call it a sport. I like to call it a sport that brings together your mind, your body, your soul, and your emotion.
Right.
Not too many other sports or activities do that kind of bring all of that together. So yeah, when you're dancing, you're tuning into your physical being, your mind, because you have to remember steps, choreography. You have to be aware of your spatial, where you are and on the dance floor. And then the music brings in your emotions. Right. So it's the one thing that kind of like brings
all 5 senses,
yes,
really,
everything
right?
together. And so when you're dealing with that, it's kind of, it can, as far as like emotions or grief, it can bring you out of so many different things: depression, grief,
right.
Make you happy. It can make you feel sad sometimes, depending on the piece, I guess,
right.
But it's the one thing
still in a good way.
In a good way,
Yeah.
right? It brings out you maybe remembering of an emotion that brings kind of a sense of remembering someone that you lost or something like that. But
or an emotion that's been stuck in you for a while,
right,
and that needs to kind of come out and be released, right?
So, well, it's the emotion aspect, I think, of it, especially the movement combined with music, because you're having your sight and your sound, your physical and your emotional tapped in all together. So when you bring in the music, that can bring up so many different emotions for so many different people, good, bad, indifferent, anything.
Yeah. So funny that, just touching on that, there was a song at the studio that they would play every once in a while, and it literally would make me cry. Like, and I still don't know what the name of the song is. Has that ever happened to you? I've never felt that way about any song before. Has that happened to you a lot?
Yeah, it has. Certain songs just bring, like, I'll hear something on the radio or in the studio, somebody will be dancing to something, has nothing to do with me, and I'll just be like, oh, what's that? And all of a sudden, like, something triggers in my head, like, wow, like that's bringing up some type of emotion for me.
Yes, yeah, and that's never happened to me for a song without lyrics. This song had no lyrics, and it was a slow. Was it a waltz time? The waltz song. I don't know which one you're talking about, because I think it did the same. Does it do the same? Okay, so then you know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah, and I try to find out.
Frequently there.
They do, and I tried, and it comes on. I mean, it's instantly I start to cry, and I never could find out what it was. Maybe it's a good thing.
Well, it's triggering something in your brain.
Yeah, it's triggering something in your brain, and I find that so interesting. How something like that, just music alone,
can bring on such emotion, and then that dance aspect into it, it's like it can be overwhelming, I think.
Then you add
You can be
movement, and then
flooded.
you're just telling a whole story in itself.
Yeah. It can. I think it could flood you, but in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
Yeah. You've been dancing for so long, and you've met so many people, had so many different instructors. But been surrounded by other people, other dancers at all different levels, right? Beginner like me, intermediate, expert. Have you like watched a progression of confidence build like in people? I mean, I'm sure you felt that in yourself too.
Oh,
after
yeah.
all these years too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you witness it like in other people when?
Oh yeah, you can definitely see it. You can see it when they first walk into the studio, their first lesson to maybe 10 lessons later, and then maybe 20 lessons later. You can definitely see how they become more confident in themselves. When they first start, they're a little unsure, what. I think it's more scared of the unknown, maybe, not knowing what to expect a lot of times. And then once they get used to that and just get into the movement and trust in your partner too, I think, especially if you're doing partnering work like ballroom, learning, after a few lessons, really getting to know your partner, connected with your partner and trusting your partner, then, you become more confident. But oops.
There they go.
I didn't trust me too much. For myself too, the confidence, like switching genres. When I did ballet for 25 years, I was very confident.
Right.
And then I started ballroom, and I just remember walking into the studio saying, oh my gosh, like I had no idea what I'm doing here. Didn't know what to expect. Didn't know.
And isn't that interesting? Because like I would think, oh my God, you're this expert ballerina. You know dance inside and out. So to come into a ballroom type of atmosphere must just be like, okay, no problem. So I
was totally opposite. I walked in, I was scared to death. I was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't want to look stupid. And I was like, I know I'm going to not move right. So I went from ballet, and when I joined the ballroom, I was like, I wanted specifically American rhythm or Latin, which is totally different than ballet.
Right.
Like ballet, you don't move your hips or anything, and like just trying to get that hip movement and everything, it was just like a fish out of water. And I just remember saying, oh, I look stupid doing this.
How long did it take you to build confidence in yourself then?
I still don't have confidence in myself.
You should. You're amazing.
I still don't. I still look in the mirror and I'm like, oh God, I look ridiculous. What am I doing?
No.
But
you were like up here.
No. So yeah, but it builds over time. I mean, I'm more confident than the first day, but I have moments of saying, oh boy, I feel really weird doing this movement, but you just keep practicing and it comes.
Yeah. So what would you say to someone who's thinking about taking up ballroom dancing, but they feel too old or too awkward, or they're afraid?
Oh gosh. Well, don't be. And I'll tell you why. When I started back up when I was in my early 20s, this is going back like 40 years. So there was no really adult classes. So going into a studio trying to find lessons was very difficult. And I was taking lessons with teenagers and little kids. I did whatever I had to do because I really wanted to do it. But nowadays, first of all, you're never too old. Let's just get that out of your head. It's never too late to start. And nowadays, you're going to find adult classes everywhere, especially ballroom, everywhere. But if you wanted, let's say you're interested in hip hop or ballet or contemporary, lyrical, jazz, whatever it is, no matter what studio you go into, you're going to find an adult class. So it's much easier nowadays than it was 40 years ago when I did it.
Right.
And second of all, the adult community, dance community, I have to say, is probably one of the most supportive communities out there. So no matter what studio you walk into, you're going to find people that support you, want you to do well, want to help you. You're going to make friends. You're going to make a huge dance family. And if you happen to get into a studio where you don't feel that, go to a different studio.
Right.
Because you're in the wrong place.
Right.
And it's just, you're going to love it. It's going to be scary at first. I remember when I was, 40 years ago walking in that first ballet class, I was scared about stupid stuff. You worry about this stupid stuff, like, what am I going to wear? Like, what am I supposed to wear? Where am I supposed to stand at the bar? Like, what happens if I stand? You know, your mind like starts playing tricks on you, all these like weird things you worry about that you don't need to. But if you call the studio, there's always, you know, the instructor or the owner just ask questions, you know, what do I wear to class? What do people wear? What are, you know, and once you get answers to your questions, then it's less scary.
Right.
And then your first lesson, when you get there, 2 minutes into it, you're going to be fine. And you're going to be like, wow, why didn't I do this 20, 30 years ago?
Right.
You know? There's no reason to be scared. You're going to love it, and you're going to get bit by the dance bug, and you're never going to stop.
Yeah, it's true. I can attest to that because I was so nervous about walking into that studio.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, once I started dancing with the instructor and, you know, you could sense that he had a lot of knowledge himself and he was used to working with older adults. It kind of put you at ease. And I also think that maybe like starting up with the group classes might be a way to ease into it as well instead of just private lessons, you know. But like you said, you know, you get that kind of sense of community, which is so important, especially, you know, especially for people who are coming out of a caregiving situation, who may have lost a lot of friends, you know, during that time, which happens a lot. That happened to me. I lost a lot of friends who just didn't understand, you know, or who couldn't keep up with the grief that I was experiencing, or, you know, wasn't able to listen to my, you know, my venting. But, you know, it was nice to kind of get into like almost in like another family situation.
The brain and the body connection with dance. Dance is the one thing where the activity, you have to kind of remember your steps. There's a lot of things going on in your brain as you're physically doing something.
Right.
So you're remembering steps, you're remembering your spatial awareness. There's a lot that goes on, you know, in your brain as you're moving. So when you're doing something new, it's exciting. And dance it's no different. And I think with dances, you can physically see the progression.
Yes, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So you go into the studio one day, especially as a beginner, and you're doing a box step, and then the next day, you know, you're doing turns or this or that, and you're just like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. Where did that come from?
I agree.
So,
what do you think dance teaches us about making mistakes and recovering from them and moving forward? Because I've always had an issue with that, you know?
It teaches you that it's okay.
Yes,
that
exactly.
you're not going to die if you make a mistake.
Yeah. And
that the world's going to go on,
yeah.
and that you just have to let it go, and that, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. That's all part of the process. And, you know, whether you're rehearsing in the studio, or if you're performing, or if you're at a competition, if you make a mistake, you just have to let it go, and things will go on, and everything will be okay. You can't live in it. You can't say, okay, I made a mistake, oh my God, and then the rest of the performance, I made a mistake. It's just gonna like snowball into bad things.
Right.
Just release it and keep going on.
Yeah, and that's one of the things, I think that's one of the things that really moved me when I was first learning the dancing, was I would make a mistake and I immediately would want to stop and like berate myself, or like run and cry. And my instructor would not let me do that. He's like, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm like, but I made a mistake. I'm thinking, you know, I got to stop and start over. He's keep going, keep going. And I think that's just such an incredible metaphor for life, really, right?
Yeah.
You can't just stop because you've made a mistake, or you made a wrong turn, or, you know, you tripped. You got to get up and keep going like it never happened.
Exactly. And you can't be so hard. We're so hard on ourselves. We're always our worst enemy. And we're always like so critical of ourselves. We make one little mistake and like, oh my God, like, you know, we got to stop doing that to ourselves. It's okay. It's okay not to be perfect. And you can't be a caregiver. I would imagine that you're giving everything to the person you're caring for. You're,
Right.
you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, you know, everything that you have, you're giving to them.
You are.
So dance is, what I'm thinking is dance could possibly be a way for them to mentally, physically, emotionally give back to themselves.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Building myself back up, you know, kind of pushing myself out of the comfort zone. I'll never forget the the first showcase that I did.
Oh, you did amazing, by the way. Yes, you did. I remember that number. You did amazing.
So I didn't know how I could stand. I was
I know you were very nervous, but you did amazing.
because I'm an introvert at heart, and so putting myself out there is very difficult for me. But
how did you feel afterwards? Amazing, right?
felt so incredible
See?
that I pushed myself out of the comfort zone, you know, and yeah, I was really excited to do that. So
Someone once told me, every once in a while, do something that scares the shit out of you.
exactly.
That's you know, that's living.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, just do something that scares the shit out of you, because if it scares you, it's worth doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it kind of makes you, it kind of levels you out and brings you up to the next layer, right?
Exactly.
The next layer of life.
And I've never really known anyone that did something that scared them that regretted it afterwards. You only regret it when you don't do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So just
I love
do it.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just do it.
Just do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Teresa, thank you so much. For
Oh,
being
you're
here
welcome.
today.
And I made a new friend.
Absolute honor. You made several new friends.
I know. I have new buddies everywhere. Come on, Rio. My new friend Rio.
For people interested in Flying Fabrics, your amazing company,
Mm-hmm.
tell them what you offer,
Mm-hmm.
how they can reach you, who is welcome, everything.
Sure. So it's Flying Fabrics by Theresa, and they can reach me by either going to flyingfabrics.com or emailing me at flyingfabricsbytheresa@gmail.com. So what I do is photographs with fabrics, and everybody is welcome. I started this business because I wanted to create beautiful things. To me, life is all about creating, whether it's a dance or a photograph. And I just love creating pretty things and sharing it with people. So anybody that wants a flying fabric photo can contact me. So I've taken the past year to learn everything I can about photography. So I'm doing my own photography now.
And you've taken some amazing photos.
Yes, amazing photos myself as well. And that's when I started looking at my photos. I'm like, well, I kind of like doing it myself, because when I source out to other photographers, I was giving away that liberty a little bit. So yeah, I'm just starting with the photography now on my own, and everybody is welcome to have a flying fabric done. I can come to you. It's a lot of fun. We just like creating. It's just collaborating with people, meeting new people. Yeah.
And it's so amazing. You work so hard, because it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but
fabrics.
But for me, it's fun, because like to me, life is about creating and meeting people and just intermingling with people and making people happy, and that's my reward, honestly.
You made me so happy with those sessions, and the photos were beautiful. But even the photos that you've taken on your own, they're absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you.
And so, I mean, just to be able to offer this total package is incredible. And I think anybody should take advantage of, being able to meet with you and to, be a participant in your creative abilities. So
yeah, and especially if you're just coming out of caregiving, just do something for yourself.
Exactly.
Make yourself feel, special.
Exactly.
Because you are. Because we all are.
Yes.